we're back with the second part of our get-together today, and our guest is Eileen Bradshaw. You probably remember Eileen from our days talking with her when she was at the food bank. Eileen, it's good to have you with us.
I'm so glad to be back with you, Sam.
Your smiling face is always welcome. Now, you're with Life Senior Services now.
Yes.
What all do you guys do over there?
Life is a broad-based organization focused on seniors' needs. So we do everything from adult day health. So if folks can't be alone during the day, but they don't want them to go to a nursing facility, they can come to adult day health. We have active senior centers for recreational purposes, keeping people active and engaged. We have Medicare and tax assistance. We have our senior line, which is good for referrals if you need help with equipment or not sure how to go about a certain process or helping with VA applications, any of those things, our senior line can help. We have mental health counseling specifically for seniors at no charge. We publish the Vintage magazine. And during COVID, we've kind of switched a lot of our operations to COVID-specific help for seniors.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm on your mailing list, and I get the because I'm an old guy, and I see all that you're involved in, and right now our seniors need you more than ever. I've never lived through a pandemic, and I know very few, if any, of our viewers or your folks have ever been through one. So there's a lot of loneliness, and there's a lot of feeling like they've been kicked to the curb just because they're old. And it's good to know that you offer mental health counseling.
And those calls have really gone through the roof during COVID. You know, I think every age is suffering from feelings of isolation and frustration during this pandemic. You're right. None of us have ever experienced anything like this before. But for seniors, you know, we've asked them to stay at home for their own protection. But that comes with a whole host of compounding issues. Mental health is important too. And we know that it's really taking a toll. So we are fielding a lot of calls, and we're taking on a lot of new seniors for case management, people that may need more ongoing assistance.
I know there was a Kingston Trio song back in the 60s, early 60s, late 50s, and the punchline of the song was, "And I don't like anybody very much." That's the pandemic. It's causing us all to kind of withdraw, trying to get in a little box and suck our thumbs, you know, and say, I don't even want to talk about it.
It'll be interesting to see how we roll back out of this when the time comes. You're right. I think we've all kind of withdrawn quite a bit from necessity, and it'll be an interesting readjustment when the time comes.
What's the biggest attention getter? And I use that, and it's a wrong thing to use, but what do seniors reach out to you for most?
Well, we are getting a lot of calls, as I mentioned, for behavioral and emotional health. And so that's a big part of our effort. But the other part of our effort is trying to address the technology gap. So, you know, for many of us, this is a frustrating experience, but we can get online and get our groceries delivered, or get online and get our prescriptions delivered, or connect with people online like you and I are doing right now. But if you're a senior who has not adopted technology, then you are particularly alone during this time. You can't go take a virtual tour of the Met. So
the sidebar to that, the interesting thing that keeps hitting me in the face, if you have children or grandchildren, they're going to know how to do it. Problem is, you can't be around them.
Yes, that's it. So even if you've got willing family members to help, you know, we're asking you to isolate at home. We get calls from people who have gotten tablets 3 Christmases ago, but never really worried about using them. And now we're at home thinking, okay, this is my lifeline. I'm not sure how to turn it on. And then we have lots of folks that just don't have access to any kind of internet. So we have pivoted our senior line. We help people do online grocery ordering. Like, we use our internet, we'll order their groceries, they pay for it, and then, you know, they're delivered to their home. Right now, we're working with folks on trying to get access to the vaccine, because as I'm sure you're aware, you have to have an email address to use the state's portal. Well, there are thousands and thousands of Oklahoma seniors that don't have email. And so we're working with those folks right now, trying to make sure that they get equal access to the vaccinations.
Eileen, I got to know you fairly well when you were with the food bank, and I know for a fact you're one of the most caring people I've ever encountered in this business. And you've brought that same touch, if you will, to Life Senior Citizens. Was it a big transition for you?
That's an interesting question. I loved my work at the food bank. I think you know that because we did spend a lot of time together. Thank you very much. But there got to be a point where I felt like what my skill set is not logistics, to be honest. I was a philosophy major. And so I felt like the next chapter for the food bank needed skills that I didn't really bring. And at the same time, this opportunity at Life really honed in on something that was important to me. I had called Life's senior line years ago when I was a caregiver for my mother, and she was quite ill. As it turned out, she was at the very end of her life. I didn't really realize that. And I was at my wit's end, and Life really walked me through and was a tremendous resource. And when I was at the food bank, I also became aware of the fact that seniors' needs are often, I mean, the food bank did a tremendous job serving seniors, but seniors' needs don't often capture the attention of the public the same way that children's needs might do. So this was really a labor of love because I think seniors are very important. They've given a lot to our society, and it's time to support them. So it was a big adjustment. It's a very different way of operating, but I really think it's just kind of a continuation of my work at the food bank.
There is an old saying that comes of all places from South Africa that loosely translated means when an old one dies, a library burns. And you have to put that into perspective. It's true in every culture on the face of the earth. Problem is, there's no one right now that you can really share that knowledge with because we're all cut off. We're isolated. And if a senior loses a mate that they've been with 40, 50, 60 years, there's no way someone can step in and just hold a hand, which is what brings Life Senior Services in. While they may not be able to physically hold the hand, they're there for them.
We are, and we're doing a lot of listening these days. Some of the folks that call our senior line don't have a tangible need. They just really want somebody to know they're there. The senior centers are really hubs for a lot of Tulsa seniors. They may play pickleball, they may take an improv class, but they are really there to connect with other people. And for a time when the city had shut down, we were doing drive-through breakfast. So people would just come through and, take home a breakfast burrito. But just that few minutes of interaction let our senior center staff have eyes on those people. It let our senior center members know that somebody cared. And they would share things like what you just commented on. We had widowers coming through saying, gosh, here's what I would talk to my wife about, and she's not here. Just even that drive-through connection reinforced the fact that a library does burn, and there is knowledge that people want to share, and they need that connection. So that proverb has never been really more true than now. I'm very excited that you mentioned that because we are organized at very early stages. The Oklahoma Arts Council gave us a grant, and we're going to do a writers symposium virtually and then in person, hopefully in the fall. So it's going to start in the spring. But the whole point of that is going to be to allow seniors to either in writing or orally record their stories.
It's an intriguing problem that we face this day and age in that we are a touching culture. And you know what I mean. Christmas rolls around, you want to touch your children or your grandchildren, and you want to be touched by them. You want to feel that closeness. Mm-hmm. And these folks are out in the cold. There's just no touching anything, anywhere, anytime, until we get through this. And we will get through it if we can just hang on.
I think there's so much hope right now.
Well, it's one of those things that we have more than hope now. Yes. I just heard that another 200 million rounds of the vaccine have been ordered, and they're on the way. Distribution may be a hassle because, as you know, and you're in Oklahoma, so there's no real clever distribution plan yet. Nobody's thought, hey, what about the National Guard? Why didn't I think of that? Wow. It's the beatenest thing I've ever seen. Well, I tell you what, if we have folk out there that might be interested in checking you out, checking out Life Senior Services, how do they go about it? How do they get on your mailing list?
Well, they can go online or they can just call us. Our number is 918-664-9000. And they can, right now, we are experiencing a high call volume, I will be honest, because of the fact that we're helping people get registered for the vaccine. But I think you can get through, and you can just say, hey, I want to get on your mailing list. I want to subscribe to the Vintage. There's also a lot of information online if people are comfortable online, if they have questions. We do have housing communities. We have 17 apartment communities for moderate income seniors. So there's a lot about life. We have a PACE clinic, which is a medical model for folks who are eligible for Medicaid and Medicare. So there's a whole lot to explore, and we're happy to answer questions about any of it. And for me, what led me to life all those years ago is the same advice that I would give somebody out there. If you are either a senior or someone caring for a senior, concerned family member, and you have any kind of question, just call us. If we don't have the answer, and we don't have all of them, we can certainly connect you with somebody who will help.
Eileen, we're out of time, and I'm so sorry we are. We're going to get you back over here, but we'd like to come to your place sometime when this pandemic's out of the way and do more. Is that okay?
We'd love to have you, and I can't wait to see you again. Take care of yourself.
Same here. We're out of time, kid. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, and we'll see you back next time.